So, welcome to the Via VHS podcast, your virtual video store. And as always, I'm joined by Spencer Scott Holmes behind our video store desk. And of course, I'm your host, Wesley. And this week, we're renting a movie. Our featured rental is Taps
Tap
and
81.
1981. And it's a weird movie because it feels like you're watching some obscure, like, movie from the 80s that nobody ever talks about because it's hard to find information on it. It's hard to find it. I actually had to buy it on Fandango for like $5 to
It
watch
was
it.
it was on sale because I've been having it on my wish list for a while there, and it popped up on sale on Fandango, so I bought it. But when I was trying to look for like behind the scenes stuff or anything there, I was even looking on Amazon and it seems like the only Blu-ray is like a foreign release. The movie's been out of print like on DVD for like a long time. It almost seems like somehow, some way, 20th Century Fox has just kind of like kept this movie like kind of hidden. I mean, I don't think there's any behind the scenes featurettes or anything. I couldn't find anything on YouTube about it, no audio commentaries, even like the Wikipedia and IMDb pages, like they have barely information on it. Like if it was some weird cult foreign film. And this is like Tom Cruise and Sean Penn's like first big movie.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's Sean Penn's first major role, Tom Cruise's first major role. This is even before Fast Times.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think this might be Tom Cruise's first time really on screen that year. He had two movies that year. I don't know which one was first, but
Yeah, he had, I think, the Endless Love movie, but he's like a way back character in that.
yeah, this
This
is
one,
his
he's
first
kind of a
real
major
role.
character. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and it's wild to see because you're watching him in this role, and you're like, man, this is Ethan Hunt, this is Cole Trickle, this is Maverick. This is all these characters, and the same thing with Sean Penn. Like this, he plays Spicoli. This is before Spicoli.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. What's Fast Times in that? Is it
I
82?
think it's 82. I think it's probably only like a year later, which is kind of weird because he looks so much younger than he looks as Spicoli.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's the haircut,
Yeah, I
you
was gonna say
know.
that. I think the hair does it.
Probably he was also method acting with Spicoli too, and like indulging in certain substances and lifestyles, and maybe that contributed to um because he just here he looks well, it's a military role, so but he looks very sharp,
Yeah,
very
like the sharpest Sean Penn can look in a sense.
yeah, up until well, the last military role he was in was, One Battle After Another. But
Oh yeah, he was in that one. Yeah, he was amazing in that one.
yeah. And so it's weird seeing him here, knowing he plays Spicoli the next year because he's complete. I mean, it's literally exact opposite characters. But there's a touch of like Spicoli in his character in the sense that, he's the one that's having the hardest time like reforming. But yeah, this movie is I didn't know what to expect with it. I had thought I had seen it very early on. I'm like, I have not seen this movie. I've seen a scene from this movie that my mom showed me years and years ago. So neither one of us grew up with this. And if you would have asked me what this movie is before I watched it, I would have assumed like Dead Poet Society, but with guns, or I would have thought it was going to be like a military competition movie. Like maybe it's a competition within the school for who gets the highest rank, or maybe it's a competition between two different schools. That's not what this movie is at all. And it starts one way and just goes. I had no idea where this fucking movie was going,
Yeah.
and I was really surprised by it.
Yeah, that's the same way I felt too. Because for some reason, I just knew it was like a Tom Cruise kind of military one. For some reason, I thought they were like a tank patrol or something like that. I didn't really know that it was like academy type movie. And the fact that the movie just kind of turns one, it goes kind of Red Dawn all of a sudden, not like anybody invades, but like literally they take this over and then they become like, homegrown terrorists in a sense by the way they're looked upon. It's like, wow, this was getting interesting. I literally did not know how this movie was going to turn out. That was the thing about it. Watching it, it was like, this could go multiple different directions. And I'm very curious to see where this takes us.
Yeah, it got extremely dark, and I was expecting like angsty teen, kind of like Sean Penn, maybe Tom Cruise arrivals, which they kind of are. And there's angstiness in that, but that's not what the movie is. It's not a teen movie at all. It's a little bit of Lord of the Flies, a little bit of Red Dawn, a little bit of uh, you know, it feels like a 70s movie, number
Yeah.
one. I
Well,
mean,
it's
it's
boys
1981.
becoming men, realistically. That's what it is. It's literally like
Yeah.
men trying to, or boys trying to transfer into the role of taking over and becoming the men.
Yeah, it's almost an anti-coming of age movie when you really think about it.
Yeah.
So, but we got so much to say about it. And we got to jump into the review. So let's go ahead and go back to December of 1981 and open the tail of the tape. So if you never listened to the tail of the tape before, this is when we go back to the week the movie was released. In this case, it's December 20th, 1981. And we just look back at we go back to that week. We're trying to take a time travel. We see what was happening in the world. Might talk about some music. Might talk about some other things. We always talk about the box office. And in this case, this is when the movie Taps was released. And I don't even have the box office information with me, so you might have to help me with that one too. But
I'll tell you this: there's not a whole lot for this
no,
movie in the box office. Just like how there's not a whole lot for the DVD special features, there's not a whole lot of information on the box office.
yeah, one of the first years that you start getting the box office weeklies. So I was able to find that, but it's limited information, and it's so bizarre because this film is like it's a time capsule, and it's kind of like a monumental movie when you really think about it, because it's kind of like the first round of the Breakfast Club that nobody talks about because you have the Breakfast Club come along and you have those guys, the Rob Lowe's and the Emilio Estevez and all those people. But really, this was, before that, you had introduction of Tom Cruise and Sean Penn and a bunch of actors like that. Giancarlo Esposito,
Yep.
who I love. I
Yeah,
didn't
and
know he was in this either.
I didn't either. And he has a scene that I laughed out loud so hard. I guess because I didn't
Not
expect him
that
to.
one. Not that one.
I did like I did I didn't think it was gonna happen. Like so I think it just shocked my brain that was what
It
was
was
gonna happen.
very abrupt. The whole thing was abrupt. And then the
Yeah,
scream was weird. We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
yeah.
But it was kind of weird. I,
As I
I
said,
wasn't
it
able
was
to
a laugh
laugh.
out loud moment for me, but it was more like a laugh out loud movie moment, not
Yeah.
necessarily for the character itself.
Yeah. I can see that because it was, when we get there, it was very bizarre. And if you watch Taps, you already know what we're talking about. Yeah. So Taps, December 20th, 1981. So looking back at the box office, this movie did okay. You know, um, like what, 38 million or something like that.
Yeah, I mean it almost like quadrupled its like budget, so
Yeah. You put this movie 3 years later, it's a box office behemoth because of all the star power. It was kind of similar to when we did Quick and the Dead,
mhm.
where you have Russell Crowe and Leonardo DiCaprio, and now you look at any
When
material.
Sharon Stone was the biggest actress in that whole movie.
Yeah, Gene Hackman too.
Oh yeah, Hackman's in it.
Yeah,
Hackman.
Hackman. Um, when you look at any of the promotional material for that movie now, Quick and the Dead, um, it prominently displays Leonardo DiCaprio and Russell Crowe, but at that time they weren't. It was Russell Crowe's first American movie, and
Yeah,
Leonardo DiCaprio was, just a little shit stain that was coming along. Like he had
he
made
was just a
some,
boy.
just a boy, pre Titanic, pre a lot of stuff. I think pre Gilbert Grape too, if I'm not
I think
mistaken.
so. If not like the same year, maybe. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's pretty close. But yeah, so this movie's kind of similar to that too, because Tom Cruise, nobody knew he's one of the most famous people on planet Earth,
yeah, literally.
and nobody knows who he is. Sean Penn, one of the most recognized actors on planet Earth, one of the most successful. Feel how you want to feel, but
Yeah.
that's one guy I can't hate.
Who, Sean?
I can't hate him. There's reasons to, and it's not just political stuff. It's just he seems like a dick, but I really like Sean Penn a lot.
Yeah, no, you always gotta like Sean Penn. I mean, he's Spicoli. Come on.
Yeah, well, he just seems. I feel like I would really like hanging out with him. I don't know why,
Been an interesting
but
fellow, that's for sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like Tom Cruise would scare me a little bit.
Yeah, well, especially if it's Tom Cruise with the attitude he's got in this movie here. He's that guy that you sleep with one eye open.
Did it not feel natural though? And that's what's scary about it. He
Yeah,
would be the
exactly.
he would be the best serial killer on planet Earth. Like if he somehow militarized Scientology,
Be like this movie.
Yeah. If he somehow militarized Scientology, I honestly think he could he would take over California at least, I think.
Well, it's funny because it's like you look at Tom Cruise, especially like in these early roles and so on like that, when he's kind of like plays sometimes the dick characters, is like he would have been a really good heavy, and he only plays a very few amount of villains in his movies, but like that's actually almost I feel like what his forte leans more into.
Yeah. He's just that one of those people who he's got that kind of charisma where you can kind of do anything with him. He's people forget how good of an actor Tom Cruise is. He's a good actor.
Yeah. Well, he's my
And
favorite part of this movie. Like all the stuff he's in here, it's like, dude, he just like really steals the fucking show.
yeah, there's good performances in this, and we'll talk about that in the review, but I was very impressed with that. But so the box office, do you happen to have it in front of you? Because I know
I do.
Sharky's
I was gonna say
Machine.
our major heavy hitter though is George C. Scott for the cast.
Oh
Old Pat.
yeah. Oh yeah. I guess we should mention him.
Yeah,
Um,
he's the old dog that's coming in here. Granted, he's not. He's more just the guy to introduce you to the movie in a sense.
yeah. He's kind of like, he's the Obi-Wan Kenobi kind of character
Mhm.
that kind of is the one recognizable name, which now we most, people on Earth, people our age don't even know who he is, but everybody knows who Sean Penn and Tom Cruise are.
Yeah,
And Giancarlo
and
Esposito,
Patton.
yeah,
That's the big one there. If
yeah,
anything, everybody knows like when there used to be all those Patton like homages or ripoffs that you'd always see like in a movie where all of a sudden the character's got to talk in front of the big old giant American flag behind him. You know.
yeah. People think that they're ripping off Bruce Springsteen now. Oh, in the USA. I hate Bruce Springsteen. I really do.
He's not
I,
your boss.
r- he's not my boss. No.
There you go. You can have your own hashtag. Hashtag not my boss.
Fuck Bruce Springsteen. I'm sorry, but golly. Ah, anyway, um, that hot take. I'm sorry, but
That's okay.
yeah, yeah. Sharky's Machine, right? That's number one at the box office.
Well, yeah. Well, Neighbors is technically number one.
Oh yeah, which I've never seen that movie. I didn't know until a couple years ago it existed. But you got another Dan Aykroyd, John Belushi movie.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting one to check out.
Yeah, I think we should check that one out because I really love Dan Aykroyd a lot.
Yeah, I
Um,
always do too.
yeah, R.I.P. Belushi. That might have been his last movie.
What? Oh, I guess it was. Yeah, because Blues Brothers would have been 80, 81.
Yeah, and I think he died in like 81, 82.
Yeah.
So, Michael Eisner technically kind of killed him.
Really?
Yeah, Belushi. Um, that's a whole. Well, yeah, we can clip this. Bill Murray was on Rogan and kind of confirmed a lot of this. That Belushi wasn't a huge drug guy. Actually, he drank a lot,
Hmm.
but he wasn't doing drugs a whole lot, and he just kind of got into it, I guess. And he needed money for drugs. He had called, I think, one of maybe Aykroyd that day or something, and they were busy. And I think maybe he tried to call Bill Murray too, and nobody can get a hold of him. And he partied with some people, but he went to um, Michael Eisner, and then what was the other guy at Disney that left and did Ants and all that stuff.
Oh shit.
God damn, what was his name? Um, he did Road to El Dorado. He basically took all the Disney animated ideas and went to another studio, went to DreamWorks.
Yeah,
God, his
DreamWorks
name's
and did.
God, he's right on the tip of my tongue. Um, but those two guys were head up one of the other studios. I want to say it was Paramount, but I'm not sure. But anyway, Belushi, they wanted to do some movie, and he said, "No, I'm not doing it." And then changed his mind and said, "Okay." Later that day, "Okay, I will do it." But he said, "Hey, can I get some money?" He went over to one of the heads of the studio, said, "Can I get some money? I really need some." And he pulled some money out of his drawer and gave it to him. And that's what he
Mhm.
used to buy the drugs that killed him.
Oh, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so Michael Eisner,
Michael just had to
Katzenberg,
give him drug money. Oh, Katzenberg. There
Katzenberg.
we go.
Yeah, there it is. I think Jeffrey Katzenberg inadvertently killed John Belushi.
Yeah, what a bummer. What a bummer. Always
I
love
think
John
that,
Belushi.
yeah. But yeah, so Neighbors number one. I know you got some Burt Reynolds in there.
Yeah, Sharky's Machine, Burt Reynolds is number two. The weird thing is like it's kind of hard to find exactly when Taps initially comes out, you
Yeah,
know, because by this
yeah.
point it says Taps is on week 3, and so it's at number 5. But if I go back 1 week, then Taps isn't on the list anymore. Reds and Golden Pond are the two big ones there. So this is just that time period where they're kind of half-assed about keeping the records.
Well, also too, it's the holiday season where movies kind of come out in the middle of the week sometimes, and I think Taps came out like on a Wednesday or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
and so that's why it's kind of weird.
so it's kind of thrown into a strange place there, you know. So you get a mixed match of, you know, Warren Beatty's Reds on Golden Pond, which that's a perfect example of a movie that was humongous when I was a kid. I remember that movie just being passed around on VHS and everything like that. I haven't heard anybody talk about that movie in like
Yeah,
25 years.
yeah. I've never seen it.
You never see it's a pretty good
Mm,
movie. I remember watching it in like 1996 and thinking, well, that's pretty solid, but like I haven't
yeah,
seen it probably since then.
yeah. I've never seen that movie. Is that Jack Nicholson in there, or
I
I'm
think
thinking of
so. Robert Redford.
maybe I'm thinking of another movie with I think maybe Terms of Endearment or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um,
Of course, it doesn't say here on box office. It's been so long since I've seen it, but I remember
yeah,
it being good. But it was like one of those like old school, like you know, the heartwarming films and so on like
yeah. I have the poster like literally in this closet next to me. I've still never seen the movie. Um, but yeah, so yeah, moderate box office success. But it's kind of weird because when you have like a Burt Reynolds at the box office at the same time as Tom Cruise, it doesn't feel right. You know what I
that.
mean? It feels off because it's well, if you're talking about a movie like Boogie Nights, that's different. But like having like peak Burt Reynolds overlapping with early Tom Cruise and Sean Penn, like the changing of the guard, it's
Yeah.
what this kind of feels like a little bit.
Yeah, it definitely is like that. You know, just people just
Yeah,
don't know it yet, but you know, they're gonna get tapped in.
tapped in. Did you know what taps was before you?
No, not really. But then it kind of
Okay.
made sense. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the one of the few things I knew. I guess it's maybe the military dad or something, or but my mom, I remember my mom liking this movie a lot, and she watched it a few times, and I definitely saw that early scene, which we'll talk about in a minute. But I didn't watch this growing up, but it's my mom really liked this one, and she's about the same age as Sean Penn and Tom Cruise, so I guess it was her like her crushes at the time. So maybe that's why she liked this movie.
Yeah. You know, like the teen heartthrob kind of movie. Because it is kind of
Yeah,
it's a very man movie. There's like really like no women in this film at all.
yeah. I
There's a couple
think
moms on the radio going, oh, kids, come on now, stop having too much fun.
yeah, movie's definitely not passing the Bechdel test.
No.
Definitely not. Yeah, it's like the anti-Bechdel test. You're right. I don't think is there a woman on screen in the movie? Yeah, one
Uh,
time.
yeah, for a second, there's like once again, there's like a mom on the outside, like on a
Yeah.
megaphone. That's about it.
Well, no,
There's
there's the scene where his father comes in and the parents are with him.
oh yeah, okay. So yeah, but they're
Yeah,
just parents.
yeah. I think that's really the only time you see a female on screen in this movie. Maybe the crowd at the
Oh, I
beginning.
take that back. When they have the school or whatever, the little dance, there is some girls there.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
So
That's
it's not
true.
totally gay, you know.
Yeah, yeah. It's pretty gay though.
Well, that's the thing. I kid you not. The first like half an hour you watch this movie, you're like, that looks like this looks like the gayest place ever.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, what else are they gonna do?
Yeah, exactly. There's just 17-year-old boys, showering with like 8-year-olds. It's like it's like a
Yeah,
NAMBLA party in there.
yeah. It is kind of weird. Yeah, welcome to Neverland, boys. Well, I
It's that
guess
part of the military that always like when I was a kid that this would have been the stuff that like would have really kept me away, as if I would have saw like this kind of school environment. I'm like, no thanks.
yeah, yeah. This is not for me.
Yeah.
Not for me at all. I couldn't. My father actively talked me out of the military, like because I was gonna go. What was it? Gonna do the Navy
Oh yeah, there you go.
because he told me if I do one, that's the one I should do.
Yeah,
And some recruit.
the Navy ones generally, unless you got like a Pearl Harbor, everything's pretty golden.
Yeah, My father was a Marine, and he's like, yeah, do the Navy, because Marines and Navy are kind of like, best friends. And he's like, yeah, do that. And this recruiter had me training and working out and stuff, and like getting ready. I was ready to go. And I mean, this is still peak, Iraq,
Yeah.
post 9/11
Never
Iraq.
leaving.
Yeah. He said, yeah, you'd be a good mail courier or whatever. The weirdest thing is I remember about
Be a
that.
good
This is
mail courier. It's
yeah.
like, thanks.
That's what my dad was saying
It's
to
like
me.
that's like
He's like,
two steps away being like, you'd be great at peeling potatoes.
yeah, no, well, that's what my dad was saying to me. Like they're promising me all this stuff. He's like, no, you're gonna be like a mail courier or something, and you're gonna die. So like, and yeah, it was just a mess. But one thing I always sticks out to me about that. So both my feet are kind of messed up, but my right foot's destroyed. Like I've torn my Achilles, I broke bones. I got like a hole in my right ankle. Like I could stick my finger in like this far.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, it's messed up. And so I was doing one of the like early recruiting things, and I was still pretty good shape at the time. And I stood up on my like toes, and my ankle goes pop, 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 pop. He goes, do that again. And I did it again, and you heard a loud pop the second time. And he goes, does that happen all the time? I was like, yeah, I have big problems with my feet. He goes, well, here's the good news. If you break it in basic, if you just destroy it in basic, the Navy's going to pay for it. I was like, that's so exciting. I'm like, I'm really more excited now than ever to go. So, but I still was good. I was still training after that. Like I was gung ho. And I finally just stopped. So there's my military story. But
There we go.
yeah, I wasn't gonna get to do any sausage fest school or anything.
No. This is the thing is that, yeah, you look
Yeah,
at this school of all the boys and so on like that, and then there's just gonna be a couple of those weirdo guys in there. I feel like that was the thing as a kid. I just didn't want to be there's just some of those weird guys that you would see throughout life. You're like, if that guy
yeah,
happens to be in there, you don't want him anywhere near you. And
yeah,
I just feel like that's where these guys get attracted to, you know.
yeah, yeah. I've ran into several of those guys actually,
Yeah,
and it's just like,
throughout time, there's been a few of those ones where once I call them the guys you sleep with one eye open because you
yeah,
just don't know what that guy's gonna do to you.
yeah. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. But anyway, well, let's go ahead and jump into the review because there's really not a lot to talk about with uh the tail of the tape. I mean, granted, I didn't have a lot of good notes for it this time, but still, even if I
There wasn't
did,
a whole lot of stuff to look for. That was the thing. This movie's kind of like it's weirdly like a hidden gem that I don't know why is being like kind of put away. It's like
yeah,
definitely like kept in the vault.
yeah, it's a very the whole thing kind of felt surreal watching it. But we'll get into that. So let's go ahead and jump to the rewind review. Sorry,
No worries.
25 minutes.
Yeah.
All right. Oh man, those notes that helped me edit that fast last time with Mario.
Mm.
Um, all right. So welcome back to the Via VHS podcast, and this week we're reviewing Taps 1981. If you don't know about it, it's early Tom Cruise, very early Sean Penn, very early for both. Giancarlo Esposito, much of recognizable older guys, but this is kind of an important movie, really, in the 80s. It
Mhm.
was our introduction to what was, some of the guys will be ruling the box office the next, 30, 40 years. I mean, it's weird seeing Tom Cruise so young. And here he is. I guess he's what, like 64, 65 now?
Something like that. I know he's mid-60s.
Yeah. And just signed like a mega deal like last year with like, I think it was Warner Brothers or something to make a bunch of movies. So his career's still just like going strong. I
Yeah,
would
he's
say,
still the top dog.
yeah, I think he's the biggest movie star still,
Well, I remember there was a time period where I had a teacher like in like the 2000s. He asked the question. He was like, "Who's the bigger Tom Hanks or Tom Cruise?" And he asked the class who it kind of was, and then took the votes. And then he said something like, he's like, "Well, I believe that Tom Hanks will be the biggest one in like the longest run, like be remembered." I actually think in the long run, though, it's going to be Tom Cruise. I think Tom Cruise's movie roles have stood. I think they're going to be those ones that, like 100 years from now, those will be like those movies to be like, oh shit, like there'll be the couple ones like Top Gun and things like that will stand out. I think a little bit more than some Tom Hanks ones. I mean, not by much, but just by a little bit.
From a cultural touchstone perspective, definitely Tom Cruise. Now, see, the thing is though, you pose that question like if you pose that question, between 97 and like 2000, you know, Tom Cruise is Tom Hanks is still on the back end of that just ridiculous run through the
Yeah.
90s, from Philadelphia to Forrest Gump to, whatever. And so if you would have asked me that question about 99, 2000, I probably would have said Tom Hanks.
Yeah. See, that's what I mean. It seems logical at about that time period. I think by
Yeah.
now, and rethinking about that question, Tom Cruise, I think, is the one that kept the mantle going,
Yeah.
because
Definitely in terms of box office overall and like just a cultural touchstone and like, a figurehead
yeah,
of
and
like, this is
just
what a
those
Hollywood star is.
yeah, and just those movies that kind of like stand the test of time. Where Tom Hanks has a lot of really great movies, but he has a lot of them that are kind of slowly getting kind of forgotten. It's kind of like even Forrest Gump, for as big as that was, it's like that's the one that I always think about it when you go to like a Bubba Gump's restaurant. You'd be like, how much longer does this kind of have where this thing's still remembered the same way? Is it a generational thing? I mean, I know like
Yeah.
us as kids really dug it, even though I know it's for, the parents.
Yeah. I think we got a good another 20, 30 years before people forget Run Forrest Run. Because when I'm a grandpa, I remember that shit.
Yeah.
And
When you see a kid running outside, you're going to yell it at him as he's jogging down the side of
yeah.
the road.
But you see a kid running, are you going to think, Forrest Gump, or are you going to think Ethan Hunt?
Yeah, you're gonna think,
You know?
well, when you see someone running, that run, Forest run, that's like the one that they'll say that and they won't know what it came from. I think that's
Yeah.
what's gonna happen.
Tom Cruise running though is pretty, you know,
Yeah, well,
pretty
Tom
big
Cruise is
deal.
always running. He's
He's
always
always
running
running.
somewhere.
Of course, you have young Tom Cruise, young Sean Penn, um, and just go ahead.
I was gonna say you got Timothy Hutton, who's the main character of this movie, but
Yeah,
like he's just so overshadowed by the other
he
two guys.
he is, but Timothy Hutton is probably one of the most underrated actors
Mm-hmm.
there is,
He's super
and
good.
he's great in this movie. Really, well, first, all the acting is so good in this movie. I thought.
Yeah, I think it's top notch. I really enjoyed this movie. I gotta say, just right off the bat, like everything about it really is fucking put together super well.
Well, here's the big thing, and I don't. This is one of those times where I went back and read the critical reviews of this movie, and they're solid. I mean, I think this is like a 60-some% on Rotten Tomatoes. But after I watch a movie, I love to go back and just kind of see what other people thought. And I really disagreed with some of the sentiments, like the script was lacking, or it was jingoistic and kind of like I think a lot of people missed the point with this thing. First of all,
Well,
it's really grounded.
yeah, well, this is still that kind of time period too, where like war movies always have kind of a harder time, because Red
Yeah,
Dawn got so much flack as well too, and this thing feels like it's in that similar Red Dawn kind of
it is.
category. You know, um, I just think you do just kind of have those, new Hollywood kind of people who don't want to see kind of like stuff that feels kind of pro-military.
Well, that's the thing though, because it's opposite of Red Dawn. At the same time, it has similar features
Mhm.
because Red Dawn feels very, and I don't mean this in a bad way because Red Dawn's one of my favorite movies, but it's very Reagan era, pro
Yeah,
America, nationalistic, patriotic. This is
right.
what America looks like. This is why you don't invade America. Okay, we're gonna have our kids in bushes and they're gonna fuck you up. And
Yeah.
this has a very, I think, anti-military slant. It's kind of the perils of taking some of that, you know, too seriously, getting too rigid and dogmatic with it, and getting too serious about it, and not and taking the humanity out of it,
Mhm.
and like forgetting the perspective of why you're doing it. Like it's very different than Red Dawn in that sense, but it's a siege movie. Ultimately, is what it becomes.
Mhm.
And I did not see that. That was not on my radar. Even 20, 30 minutes in, it wasn't on my radar.
No, at first I was just kind of, because it starts off and, you got these, nice military boys in their uniforms parading around and so on like that and doing all the stuff that kind of like is the stuff when I see this in military stuff, I'm like, this stuff seems so old fashioned. Like, what do you like the English fighting the French in like 1820? It's like whenever I see that kind of stuff, I'm kind of like, oh, okay, I get it. It's like it's traditional type stuff. So you're going through there. They got a little part where the dude's playing the trumpet and talking about all the guys that they've lost over the years, from the Taps Academy or whatever
You
at
know,
Bunker Hill.
yeah. When the movie opens up, they're at a church and they're doing like an annual event where they read from this book of names of people who are at the academy who lost their lives in service in different wars, and they play taps for them at the beginning of the movie. And then we're not going to go through the whole plot, but essentially what's going on in this movie is what Hutton, what's his first name?
Timothy.
Yeah, oh, sorry. So what's going on at the beginning of this movie? Timothy Hutton is essentially being granted this role. I guess he's a junior,
Mm-hmm.
the equivalent of like a high school junior. He's going to his final year at this academy. He's been there since he's 12, and he's going to be like the top dog, like the head student. Like, that kid that was really excited about ROTC in school. Well, this kid is like, he's at a military school, and he's getting to be like you know the biggest dick there is there, like other than the headmaster general, whatever you call that guy,
Yeah.
who's literally a
Other than
general.
Sylvester Stallone's son and fucking Over the Top.
Wait, was he in there?
No, but I'm just thinking about because he's in like one
Oh,
of those schools,
oh yeah,
and
yeah.
he was probably going to
The-
be the head dick at some point
yeah, he
if
probably
Stallone didn't get
was.
him out of there.
He would have bought his way in there.
Well, I think that's
Um,
the other thing is when you see these military schools too, you kind of look at this and you go, "This is what all like the rich kid military guys go to." There's no poor
yeah,
people that probably go to this.
yeah. It's Hogwarts, but like with guns.
Yeah,
And no
exactly.
magic and no fun. There's no sorting hat there. It's like, you're an
No, no, no.
asshole. Like, you're an asshole. Um,
It's like Hogwarts. You know that
I'm
like it costs a lot to get in there. No, no fucking poor kid. Oh,
yeah,
Ron is just only in there because he's like, it was like one of those ones. They had like an open enrollment 1 year, let the fucking Irish in, and then ever since they're like, no, you close those fucking borders. That's it.
how hard would it be to be a ginger at a military school? Like, they're gonna give you so much shit. Oh my gosh. Um, they just probably put him with those red beret characters, and they wouldn't even give
Hide
him a
it.
beret. Yeah.
He blends
Uh,
in.
yeah. Um, but yeah. So anyway, yeah. So Hutton's character is going to be, I can't even remember his name. He is going to be like the top dog at this school. And it's all like optimistic. Everything's going well. He gets to eat lunch with the general, and it's like a really cool thing. And then when they find out he's going to get the role, Tom Cruise's character and he's like the head of this like red beret kind of group
Mhm.
battalion that's within the school. They give him this amazing salute. Hutton's best friend is Sean Penn. Sean Penn's character in this, and yeah, oh, everything's happy. Everything's optimistic on the up and up. There's only a tinge of kind of like something's going on with the general, but we don't know what.
But that's okay. The general allowed him to come drink some brandy with him and everything like
Yeah,
that. You
yeah,
know,
you
yeah, it
know,
was getting two steps away from it. Like, he was probably going to have to, like, hang out with this old man just to get a little bit farther up the chain.
yeah. It was a little. He's like, just take a nip, come over here, and
Come here,
um,
boys.
yeah. And the general that Arthur George C. Scott's character is always really waxing nostalgic all the time.
Mhm.
He's like quoting different people and always kind of looking like off into the distance and just talking about the good old days when he killed some Jap and
Hey, the
like,
good old days when, carpet bombing was still a fun pastime.
yeah, the good
When
old
you
days.
didn't worry who was below you.
Yeah,
That wasn't important.
yeah. Um, but anyway, yeah. So everything's on the up and up, and then you find out they're having this big kind of end of year celebration. And he's like, "Hey, by the way, they're going to build condominiums where this school is, and it's closing down."
Yeah,
And
200
so,
years of like service out the door. You guys get out of here.
yeah, we had to build condominiums, and it's very abrupt. And so at this point in the movie, Hutton's character just gets this major, major like promotion. He's going to be the head guy. he's going to be preserved in the annals of history at this prestigious military school. And now you realize, well, this is the last year.
Yeah.
And it's really hard for everybody who's there. And so at this point in the movie, I'm like, okay, they're going to raise the money. They're going to go do all this kind of fun. They're going to do like, car washes or whatever. It's
That's what it
like,
sounds like,
yeah,
because
they're
it's
going to
like
sell
they
a
give
bunch
them
of
like
like
the thing
candy
where it's like
bars.
we're giving you one more year so the seniors can graduate and so everybody else can figure out their life.
Yeah.
So you 8-year-olds could you guys got to figure your shit out right now.
Yeah. You can go, you're going to have to get to another school, essentially.
Yeah.
And so, yeah,
And they
it,
talk about it in a sense too, where they mentioned that like that the school is kind of old fashioned. Like they are kind of saying that in this movie. Like, do we really need stuff like this anymore? Is this like fucking 1800 shit? You know?
yeah.
So there's that's kind of thrown in there and stuff like that, and of course it has because it's 81, even though strangely enough, the movie's 81, but some of the stuff, like you could say this movie was 89 and it wouldn't throw me off either. I think just because of the way it's pieced together. But
It
it does.
looks very good too.
Yeah, I think that's things that looks so good for an early 80s movie. It almost looks better than like a lot of other early 80s movies.
Some great shots in this movie.
Yeah, exactly. But I think it is still in that time period post Vietnam that like people are a little bit down on the military. We haven't gotten to Reaganism yet. We haven't gotten
Yeah.
into our those kind of action movies we'll see soon enough. So this is still at that time period. Like, do you kids really need to learn about this war stuff? Come on
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. Like we're really early in the Reagan administration because he was elected. So he's probably inaugurated early in January of 81. And we're now at December. So we're not even a full year
Yeah.
into to Reagan yet. And
So
yeah,
this
it feels like a
movie's been
70s
probably
movie.
made before that even.
Yeah. And George C. Scott's character in there is kind of like a nice version of Jack Nicholson in A Few Good Men.
Yeah.
Like he just takes it too seriously. He's too much of his identity is wrapped up in the military.
This is all he knows. This
Yes,
is
all
it.
he
Like
knows,
this is
and
all he loves. He just loves boys and blowing shit up.
loves boys, loves blowing shit up, and ever just these plebeians, these civilians, which he has such a condescending attitude towards. Like he's not like it's very passive aggressive. He's like, well, I guess it's their right to go play golf and enjoy their life, but I believe in honor and I believe in code, and then I believe in this mustache,
And I
and
believe in this flamethrower.
yeah, I believe in this flamethrower and boys showering together. And
Yeah.
anyway,
Come on, boys, come shower with Papa.
lather up. Yeah,
He just like puts his arms out, lather me up, boys, lather me up.
he just doesn't
Like, wow,
happen in the movie.
this movie's getting weird.
Yeah, what's happening? So yeah, he's so
Come on, Tom, don't you want to be a star?
yeah, maybe that's what happened.
Yeah, he got
and
him
Sean
and
Penn.
Sean together. He's like, okay, boys, this is it. This is the shower scene that you had to go through.
Yeah, has Sean? What is real quick? Is Tom Cruise and Sean Penn acted together in a movie since then?
That is a good. Is Sean Penn also in Tropic Thunder?
I don't think so.
Don't think so. I think I'm getting that confused with like Walter Mitty for some reason.
I've never seen Magnolia. Is Sean Penn in Magnolia?
I don't think
It
he's
just
in that
was.
one. Tom Cruise
feel-
is great in that fucking
Yeah,
movie. He
yeah. I've
steals
seen.
once again. He steals the show.
Yeah, I've seen clips of that, but I've never seen the whole movie. Yeah, I don't think they have.
Yeah,
So it's really interesting too, because not only are you seeing them when they're really young, you're seeing Sean Penn and Tom Cruise acting together, and they really act together because they have this contention between the two.
yeah. It's actually similar to Platoon in a sense with Tom Bereger's character and Willem Dafoe's, where
Yeah.
one guy's kind of more like, you're kind of pacifist, sort of almost hippie-like character, and then the other guy's just all about like death. We all know about death.
Yeah, gotta blow shit up.
Yeah, and that's how Tom is. This is like Tom is just like fucking high strung, waiting to blow shit up.
Yeah,
He's the guy who joined the military because he gets to shoot people.
Oh, 100%. He's got a bloodlust for sure, and it's like a little pit bull.
Yeah, because
A
it's
little
Tom.
stocky, yeah, because he's beefed up in this. He's like he doesn't have that slender look like you see with like Cole Trickle a few years later. He's kind of like there's one point he's like curling.
He's
And it's like,
curls,
okay. Yeah,
His unibrow hasn't grown in yet, so For some reason, mid 80s, he just like nobody told him he's got a unibrow. I don't know why.
Maybe it was just a thing to have.
I guess maybe the girls just like the unibrow. That's just what it is.
Maybe. I don't know. Um, so yeah, so they find out the school's gonna get closed down. You think, oh, they're gonna do car washes, they're gonna sell candy bars, and there's gonna do this some fundraiser, and there's gonna be some event at the end of the school. Like, did we raise enough money? And like, yay, we all did.
It's gonna be like
No,
an Animal House thing, and it's not.
no. So here's what sets everything off. This is the one part of the plot you have to understand. And this actually made me viscerally angry because it's like there was never an investigation done. Like it just seems like a simple matter of like somebody saying talking to authorities about what happened would have resolved all this.
Yeah,
But, essentially they're getting ready to have a school dance.
yeah. This is the one time a year that they could have women.
Yeah, they let women come into the school, so they have their beards. And they they have just posing as heterosexual boys, and they're dancing and stuff. And then there's a bunch of like asshole kids from like a local high school just parked out there for no reason. Like, hey, let's
like right across the street,
yeah,
drinking beer, fucking
yeah,
like yelling at them.
yeah. So they're like, so basically, okay, here's the equivalent for us that most of us can relate to. Imagine the ROTC has an event at
Hmm.
your high school, and like a lot of the other kids who just hate the ROTC kids and like they take it too seriously, they pull up to the dance, the special ROTC event, and they start talking shit. Hey, you're a bitch, and like things like that, and like you'll never make it in the military, and your dad went AWOL, and things like that, and just talking shit. And that's what these kids are doing. So they find out Bunker Hill Academy, which is the name of the academy in the movie, they're having a a dance, a little get together, and they just all pull up in their shitty cars and like, let's just talk shit, let's hurl insults, to the kids who are definitely going to beat our ass, which is like the dumbest thing.
The kids that are actually armed,
Yeah, they're not ROTC kids. They're like, this is actually kind of like a weird branch of the military. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. This is the one where like you're gonna be promoted to like high ranking, like once you actually go in.
Yeah, like this helps you get into West Point.
Yeah, this
Eh,
helps you skip infantry.
Yeah, yeah, you're not going to the front lines here. Um,
No.
so yeah, they're picking on those kids, and they're talking shit and running their mouth. And then Hutton's character decides to go down there, like the main character of the movie, decides to go down there and start to quell some of this insurrection that's going on because now they're getting in each other's faces and it's getting kind of contentious. And then a fight breaks out. I One of them throws a punch and they start running their mouth, and all of a sudden they're in a fight. So George C. Scott runs out, like, "Hey boys, stop touching each other." And there's a time and place for that
Yeah, that's
later.
called the shower.
Yeah, yeah.
No
We're not,
girls
this is
allowed.
yeah, this is shower time. And so he goes down there and he tries to break up the fight. And one of the kids, tell me if I saw this wrong. One of the other kids tries to grab his gun out of his holster.
Yeah, literally one of the drunkards kids literally grabs the gun out of George C. Scott's and then pulls the trigger and shoots one of his friends.
Yeah, yeah. So like, he doesn't even shoot the kid. And so I felt like a lot of this could have been avoided by just, a simple police investigation.
Yeah. But I
Y-
think it's that weird thing that like he wasn't supposed to have the gun loaded because George C. Scott, the only thing he does
yes.
say is like, "Oh, I didn't realize there was still one in the chamber."
Yeah. I think speculation here. I think that there was going to be a scene where he thinks about suicide and then puts the bullet in the gun, and that was kind of cut because there's this one random scene now when I think about the movie, there's this one scene where he's like in his office alone and he goes over and looks at this one particular picture, and then he goes over and takes something out, and he's just kind of like, I thought at that point in the movie, like, oh, he's about to kill himself, this is where the movie's going to take the turn.
Yeah, because he's just
uh
looking over all the old memories and all that kind of
yeah,
stuff.
so I feel like that was something was cut there, and that's why there was a gun in the chamber, because he was going to use it on himself and decided not to or something. And then I don't know, maybe that's just complete speculation, but it felt like that because there was a part in the movie I'm like, oh dude, he's about to do it. He's about to fall on the sword.
Well, he
And
definitely talks like there's nothing else out there for him but this
yeah,
place.
Yeah.
If once again, if he doesn't have boys and explosions and bombing other countries, like
Yeah.
what's the point?
Well, he's Brooks in Shawshank. He's in a weird way institutionalized. He can't
Yeah.
live as a civilian. And he's like, I can't go out there play with a little white ball with a stupid T-shirt with a alligator on my tit. He literally says that, by the way.
Yeah, yeah, he really goes down wearing some stupid fucking pants, looking like a complete mook.
Looking like a bitch with a stick and just out there hitting balls and sticks and balls. And anyway, where was I? Anyway, so
How you
yeah,
boys doing?
yeah. How you boys doing?
How's your
So anyway,
sticks and balls?
yeah.
You'll
So
be
his little
18 next year.
yeah. I don't know. I think they age out on them. Why are we doing this to this character? I think it's wrong, but it does feel.
It's just how the school sort of starts off. That goes away real quick, but there's just that initial kind of gayness that's in these kind of
Well, they
like,
do say so. That's what sets the fight off between the kids. Is one of them uses that F word towards them, and he's like, "Yeah, you're a maggot," and he's like, "Oh shit," and they're like, and they fight. So maybe there's some pent up, you know, playing with the boys with Kenny Loggins.
yeah,
They're
George C.
playing.
Scott's like, only I can call him that.
Yeah, that's true. So anyway, yeah. So kid dies. So kid number one dies,
Yeah.
and that's what. So now that we're talking about shutting down the school, now they just like went into advance. Like we're not even open the school next year. You
Yeah,
kids got to figure some
no
shit.
more 1 year. That's it. That's over.
Yeah, which seems like a very again, this movie to me is very grounded. Everything makes sense because especially these days, like they'll cancel shit in a heartbeat. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And this is not some like woke cancel culture kind of thing. It's just like our reactionary thing to do in our culture now is not to try to fix something or listen to some nuance. Just like get rid of it. Oh, they
yeah.
killed some black guy in Minnesota. Cancel cops on TV. Like it's
Yeah, it's like that thing. Like, no, they don't even think about. They don't even look at they don't even look at the full spectrum of it, and that's literally what they kind of do here. But I feel like this is that era too, where the cancel culture would have happened on military people, though. Like
yeah,
that's it, and that felt like that was all they needed. Like, good, that fucking kid died. Perfect. We don't have to pay these stupid guys anymore
yeah.
for one more year for them to parade around their little gay uniforms.
So anyway, so now they're like, what's next? They don't know what's going on. These kids are like, some kid just died. They take the general away in handcuffs, and then they find out on the news that the general has a heart attack and is like in critical condition. So the boys are at the school like, damn, what do we do? And off-brand Kevin Bacon's like, hey, we should like, you know, say no. Basically, they're gonna
Yeah,
come and
just
say,
say no.
we're just gonna shut they're gonna shut the school down. Maybe we don't let them do that. So he goes the next day, he goes into this warehouse and he sees that they're doing like, inventory on the weapons there, which by the way, underutilized plot point in this movie until maybe the very end, but even still, underutilized plot point, how much weaponry they have. It's insane.
Yeah,
And like all these guns and like grenades and all kinds of stuff that they have in this warehouse. And Timothy Hutton's character goes to talk to the auditors and say, "Hey, you can't take our weapons. It's a right to bear arms." They're like, "Yeah, well, you're a bitch, so we're gonna take them." And then the guys are up in the rafters, and they point the guns at the auditors essentially, and that's what starts to say, "Okay, now this is like a rebellion. This is
yeah,
like a siege because now they got to take all the other people, all the civilians, and put them in a bus and ship them off." And they start like barricading and putting up a fortress around the school. And that's what this movie becomes. It's a siege movie. And I did
yeah.
not see that coming.
No, I didn't either. It's like they literally start their own, because that's when I started. Like the first part of the movie, I was like, oh, okay, I was going along with it and so on like that. The second it started to turn into this siege movie and they start to lock themselves in there and so on like that, and it's almost like they become like like declared not part of the state anymore in a sense. It was like, whoa, shit, this stuff's getting real here and so on like that. And for some reason, there's like other than George, it seemed like George C. Scott was the only old guy that worked at this school. Like it's like all the other teachers are just like ixnayed out of here. It's just, and now it's just a bunch of boys. from
Yeah.
literally ages 8 to 17 running this place.
So that is one big problem I have with this movie is that there was a major lack of, you know, authority there. There was no, I don't remember seeing at any point any other, you know, adult representation other than at the when they go into the dance, there's some people standing beside the general that feels
Yeah.
like that they're the, but it doesn't feel like there's any other staff. Like, does this fucker take all the phone calls? Does this fucker do all the meetings with the parents?
They're all my boys. Don't question it. It's like some giant cult thing.
Yeah, like if they would have put into this is one, this is a major oversight to me because if they would have put into the store like all the rest of the staff has already went home for summer vacation and the boys were just waiting to be picked up. I mean, I guess that would still make sense, but there'll still be some type of like
Yeah, there should be somebody there.
parent, like to be like, okay, did you get your kids? Like, just make sure that all the kids aren't just stuck in this building for the summer. Yeah, it's that was one major problem with the movie.
Yeah, could you just imagine, like, just picture a school and just leaving all the kids, just have the teachers just leave and all the kids be there? Like, well, they'll figure it out.
Yeah, Home Alone in a military academy though would have been went so hard though if you think about it. Like, oh my gosh, like with all that weaponry there, man, they get a
Yeah, because they're fully loaded.
yeah, no, they had everything. They could take over a small town, and
Yeah,
they
they take
do.
over a country.
Yeah. So what really sets everything off, of course, is Tom Cruise because Tom Cruise character, what you need to know about him is he's feisty. He's got a
Mhm.
bloodlust, and he's head of those little, rebellion. And as they talk about later in the movie, he's the guy you want on your side in a fight. Like if things go down, you want him on your side, and that's true. But you also don't want him on your side if you're trying to negotiate something, if you're trying to come to a diplomatic resolve. He's not the one for that. He's there for when you're past that. And
Yeah.
essentially what happens is they go into town to get provisions. They come up with this little cockamamie reason why they have to pick them up. The guy buys it at the produce area. Sean Penn does a good job. And they're leaving, and then one of the trucks breaks down. And all the town boys come out and be like, hey, you killed our friend. Your
Yeah.
general killed my friend.
You killed Ronnie, son of
Yeah,
a bitch.
you son of a bitch. We're definitely going to beat your ass, but you're not. And so they have to leave one of the trucks there, and things start to get aggressive. And force Tom Cruise just jumps out with his gun and like in the air. Doesn't shoot anybody, but he
Yeah, but
wanted to.
who knows where those bullets are going to land? That's what I always think about when they do that.
Yeah, like what's going to go on? Like what gravity, y'all?
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
some of y'all
Bullets.
do. Yeah, some of you don't believe it exists, but it does. Let's throw that out there. Need to
That's that's what I always liked about that movie, The Mexican of Brad Pitt. Is that's like one of the few movies where it shows like when people are shooting bullets up in the air, one of them comes down and just takes a guy out.
yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah, never happens in these. He was kind of shooting him out though.
yeah, but it'll come down somewhere.
Yeah. So yeah, that happens. They get the guns start going off, and then the police come and they ram through a police vehicle, and they get the provisions back to what is now the school is now a base, and that's what basically says, okay, now there's no turning back because now we've already fucked up.
Yeah,
So, uh,
fought the law. We fought the local town drunks. You know.
yeah, yeah. So we have to siege up in here, and like we've created the situation now we can't turn back, and we're holed up in here. And I like the way they did that because everything makes sense in this movie, other than the lack of authority figures and the lack of parents. The dialogue between the people on the outside and the people on the inside, um, how everything plays out is very well written and well thought out and grounded and realistic. And it really feels like this situation could happen,
Yeah, I
you know?
definitely feel like that too. And the fact that is that like these boys take charge and they run it with everything that they've learned. So it's not like they've gone just like full, like, caveman wild or anything like that. No, they're very orderly. They're going by the book. And for a lot of these kids, just like George C. Scott, this is all they know, because I look at like Timothy and Tom Cruise's character, and they're actually kind of both two guys who are kind of in like the same way. Just there's one like, V in the path that kind of separates them. And the fact is that Timothy is the guy who would take charge and take control of things, but he's not as bloodlust. Where Tom Cruise is the one who he wants to take charge, but he also wants to see some carnage.
Yeah. Yeah, he just has they're different temperaments, and
Yeah.
one believes strongly in honor and all that stuff, and the other one believes I'm not backing down from a fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, in
And then
fact,
Sean
I
Penn's
will.
sort of like the pacifist of all these. He's the
He's
guy
the
who for say,
reasonable one.
yeah, he's somehow in the military, but he doesn't seem like a military guy, like as much as like a guy you wouldn't see in combat or anything like that.
Well, he's the temperament that you want in the military,
Yeah.
actually, in my opinion, because you want somebody to say, "This is important. This is necessary," because it is necessary. We need a military, but it only needs to be used in defense and like last possible. Like you have to exhaust everything first,
Mm-hmm.
diplomatically, and he right away doesn't see much justification on what's going on. Like, hey, we could just go to another school. Like all this honor stuff is like, kind of it's good until it isn't.
Mm-hmm.
It's good until there's, justification of why, reasonable people wanting reasonable things, and you're just going to be unreasonable just because of some code that really it doesn't mean it's made up, you know. And Sean, that's what Sean Penn's character kind of is. He's just kind of the reasonable one, and he's very honest. He's like, yeah, I really don't know if I should be here. I don't know if this is a good idea, or like, why are we doing it for? Um, so yeah, so basically, there's a standoff, and the National Guard gets called in by the governor. First, they bring what Hutton's dad in there, who's like a corporal, I think, or something.
Yeah, they bring him in there. They come kind of talk it out, and he doesn't do any good. He tries to put some voice of reason in there and stuff, but these guys are like, nope, we're sticking to our guns.
Yeah, and now you're starting to see kind of little by little that Hutton's character is a villain,
Mm-hmm.
and that you know now it's becoming more about saying something to his dad. Now it's more becoming about like stubbornness and ego, and this false belief in honor, because now it's not about the school anymore. It's about not bending the knee to these people, because he tells a story earlier in the movie that his mom dies when he's 12 years old, right before he goes to the school, and his dad's like, cry for 15 minutes and never say anything about it again. Um, and you know, that's really, really sad. So you realize why he's kind of screwed up. So now it's becoming more about his ego, and he's becoming sort of a tyrant. He's becoming sort of crazy. And,
Yeah, but he's still
you
at
know,
this protest kind of level. I feel like it's all still in reason,
yeah,
because they are sort of taking away these kids' livelihoods, all
yeah,
they sort of know. And once again, they're kind of kids, so this is all they might know. The world isn't as large yet or anything there. And through this process, there's a couple like parts where some of the kids just run away in the middle of the night, and disappear and so on like that. And they even have one where bright and early in the morning, he asks if like whoever wants to leave, you can go right now. Just put down your guns and step forward and so on like that. And of course, like 1/3 of them do, and they just kind of go, "Oh man, I don't want to be here anymore," you know?
yeah, yeah. And so they're starting to realize like, this is why are we doing this for? Like, what are we fighting for? And also, when you are in the military, your job is to protect your country. But now the National Guard's involved, and now you're literally going against even your country. So now
Yeah,
it's like, what are we doing? Like,
yeah. We've literally become homegrown terrorist type things.
yeah. And I like how in the movie it kind of becomes hazy as to it naturally becomes like, this makes no sense. What are y'all doing? Like, you know, the general is, as far as the kids know, is in the hospital recovering from a heart attack. He's not giving these orders anymore.
Yeah,
The school's definitely getting closed down now. Like
yeah,
you're they're definitely gonna win. You're outgunned, hopelessly outgunned. You're already running out of food.
yeah. You lost
And
one truck.
yeah, you lost one truck. That one didn't even make it back. And things are starting to get crazy. Now, who was the first kid to die?
That's a good
Bec-
question.
because it was one kid that I felt like got shot or something early on.
Yeah, there's one kid that does get something happens to him and he gets carried out. I can't remember how he went out though.
Yeah, I
It's a good
can't either.
question. Yeah, I can't remember how that one is. I remember how the couple other ones is. It's not like tons, you
Yeah.
know. There's a part where they shut the power off, and then they have to go to restart the generator, and you got Giancarlo Esposito going at it. And I don't know, it's just one of those ones. This like I just shocked my brain as I was watching it because they're just going there. He's pouring in gasoline, and it's just kind of spilling out. You're not thinking anything of it. You got there's the one nerdy guy with the glasses who's kind of one of the other main characters. Can't remember
Yeah,
what
he
that
reminds me
dude's
of
name
Shane Black and then like a
and Predator.
yeah.
Yeah, so you got him, and he's always seems to be the tech guy who hooks up the radios and all this kind of stuff. Well, he's over here now working on this generator, and they're like, "Okay, we're gonna get the power back on," and so on like that. And then like the second they start that generator, Giancarlo just literally like catches on fire, and I just did not expect that to happen at all. So I just busted out laughing, and he's screaming and like burning and everything like that. But I
It's just so abrupt. It does it because everything's standard operating procedure in the movie, and they'll be having conversations while they're doing some like important work. Like this guy's polishing this, and they're having a conversation. And the movie kind of lures you in that way, where you're used to see people kind of multitasking, like they're having a conversation, but they're doing something that's part of their duties or whatever.
Mhm.
So when he's filling up this generator, you don't even feel like that something bad's about to happen. It doesn't even lead you into it. There's no like music cue or like dun dun
No, there's no
dun
like the
dun dun.
gas you see leaking in a close shot towards his feet or anything like that. You don't see
Yeah,
any of that.
yeah. Like he's just pouring gas in, and all of a sudden, he's running around and screaming, and the scream doesn't match the him, and it's just really bizarre. And he
Yeah.
gets kind of wheeled out, but it was just so abrupt, and it kind of shocked me too because you literally don't see it coming. You don't.
Yeah, I just did not expect it. So I mean, I laughed so hard at that part.
Yeah, it's not even like a good. You can't even describe it as a jump scare because even with a jump scare, you know that there could be something lurking, and you're like waiting for that. This you're just watching it, thinking, "Oh, they're trying to fill up the generator." And next thing you know, he's like running around on fire and everything.
Yeah,
Um,
it just didn't even cross my mind that that was going to happen or anything, Yeah. And so he does get wheeled out. He's one of them. God, I can't think who the first one was.
yeah, I feel like there was like a death early, or like a situation where like another kid gets shot or something like that, but I can't think of what it was.
Yeah, or somebody just gets hurt as well, and they got to get wheeled out. But yeah, somebody does. But whatever. By this point, they're down to like limited rations. The power keeps getting shut off, the generator, the water, even, and so on like that. So their resources are getting kind of drained, and the National Guard is just outside playing the weight game.
Yeah, they're applying the pressure because they have messages from their parents on these loudspeakers. They have this bright light that's pushing on the students, and it's just the pressure is kind of like seeping in. The tension is seeping in, and to the point where you see Sean Penn and Hutton get into an actual fist fight because now they're starting to challenge each other. Now they're starting to challenge the reason why they're in there. They're trying to justify it, and it's getting harder and harder to do. You have the head of the National Guard out there.
Ronnie
Um,
Cox.
yeah, Ronnie Cox trying to say, "Hey, man, don't do this shit. This is dumb. You're gonna lose." And you start the conversations with Hutton and Ronnie Cox. You start to realize that's when you realize that Hutton's character is kind of losing sense of reality. Like it's just becoming very dogmatic and somewhat crazy because the rational Cox is very respectful to the kids and saying, "Hey, I understand why you're doing this, and I actually agree with you to an extent, but you're going to lose, and other people are going to face the consequences of this. This is going to be bad, and it's going to be on you." And he's like, "I don't give a shit. You're a bitch, first of all." And so now it's like he's speaking on behalf of these people, and he says they're not against their will, but at one point he asks a lot of them if they want to leave, and I would say a third of them do.
Yeah.
So he's starting to realize that maybe this is all about him and not about the mission anymore. you know
Yeah, and now he's getting down to his loyal followers. And speaking of that, did somebody get shot? Did that first person get shot by the police? Is that what happened? Because the cops were kind of a little bit wild out there before the National Guard came. They were kind of unruly.
Yeah, I feel like something happened. I can't remember. I'm like,
Yeah, I'm totally drawing a blank, but I've just been trying to piece it together. Like as I remember that, because Ronnie Cox, I almost want to say he blames him. He's like, this death is on you.
Yeah. Well, he definitely does that with Giancarlo Esposito when he gets like torched. Like, this is your
Yeah,
responsibility.
this guy wasn't qualified to fill this generator up. Clearly,
Yeah. So it's starting to really, fall apart for them in there. And the siege is not working out. And then this also, like, the public opinion is 100% not on their side. Like, everybody's like, these kids are terrorists, they're radical, they're fanatical, they're insane. And a lot of the parents don't believe most of the kids want to be in there. And so
yeah.
they're like frantic because I can't even imagine like having one of my kids in there, like, and missing them. Like, I'll see you in the summer. Like, what the fuck? Like, what?
You see that fucking Tom Cruise guy come up and like eyeing your kid and stuff with those like mean guys. He's like, I'm gonna put a beret on him.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, fresh meat. Like, come on. All right. Bye, Billy.
Puts his hand on his shoulder and be like, I'm taking a shower with him later tonight.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't worry. I'll look after him real good.
Yeah.
I help him wash his belly button.
I'll
And,
make sure he drops that soap.
yeah. Yeah. It's, yeah. Oh.
That's that
So,
thing is like I like it's like what else was it? I always think about that. I know I'm going back to the shower thing, but just as like a kid, I would have built that like is it so much to ask for the people just have their own stalls? Like I don't know what the
I don't know. I mean, I had to do that during football.
yeah. Well, see, that's the thing is I remember that they did have that during football and other sports, and I just remember nobody took a shower at the school because of that.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
There was like weird like 90s rebellion where it's like whoa like taking a shower for everybody, and then of course like the gym teacher's like, come on, it's fun.
Yeah, we got tallywhackers.
Yeah, come on, come on. He's just trying to whip the guys with his fucking towel. Like he's having too much fun here.
Yeah. There was one more time when I was playing football, like, when my foot was messed up, it was like really bad. I think the coaches were trying to test my metal and see if I was really injured because I was playing anyway, even though I was really hurt. And I was like, I love football so much, but like I was in pain and I'd get home and I couldn't walk. Like, my ankle would turn purple. It was bad. And I think they were trying to see if I was telling the truth. So they did this ice bath for me.
Mm-hmm.
What the purpose of that, looking back, like, what is this supposed to fucking do? Like, I really think they were just trying to see if I'd tough it out. And I had to get my whole body in there and then get out, get my whole body in there and get out. And the kid that they sent there, the medical trainer, his name was Ben, and he was like real effeminate. And of course, everybody called him Ben Gay because why wouldn't you? Like,
That's what he's like. Yeah, he's just not named properly.
yeah, so just get in the ice. If you can just sit deeper, if you can just get a little deeper in there, that's it right there. And the whole thing was like that and really awkward. And he's like, you have to stay a little longer just to make it last. Just to make it last longer. If you can make it last longer. The whole thing was really weird. And that was probably the gayest thing ever.
Yeah.
Like, and now looking back, I'm like, why did they do that to me?
Yeah,
And I
you
just think,
fucking George Costanza be like, I was in the pool.
yeah, I don't understand why that whole thing was a thing. It's just weird looking back. I'm like, why did y'all do that to me? And it was probably, I think a lot of them had this same mentality that these old guys do at this military school. It's like, well, let's see if he's a gay.
Yeah, let's see. You know, I mean,
I hope
you know,
so.
yeah, let's go wrestle in the shower stalls. First one to
Yeah,
get hard is called the queer.
yeah. uh, we are so insensitive. We used to play Smear the Queer. Did you ever play that?
Yep, that was a very common game in California as well.
Yeah,
Even as
yeah,
a kid, I remember I was like, huh, strange.
yeah. Well, I remember we always made sure it was my neighbor Randy because he would talk so much shit and run his mouth so much. And we'd be playing football and having fun. He's like, "Can I play?" And he'd want to play some other game. I'm like, no, we're playing football. And we're playing Smear the Queer. What's that? Here, catch.
Boom, that's it.
Oh man, the good old days. Halcyon days. So anyway, where are we getting gay stuff? So this movie, now they're just like stuck in there. Like, it just keeps escalating. Hutton gets more and more stubborn. He gets given more and more reason to go out. Now Sean Penn's like, hey dude, you're being a dick. Like, what are we doing? Like, why are you doing this? What's the fucking point? They get into a fist fight and beat the shit out of each other. They turn the power off.
Mhm.
And does something happen when they turn the power off?
Other than Gina Carlo getting caught on fire.
That's the next day, though.
Oh, I guess that's true.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like
I
something
don't
happened
think
there.
so. I think that yeah, something. I mean, like the power goes out and like everything's kind of turned off, and it's like they're losing all their resources and so on.
Yeah. So Esposito gets burned. So that's one big strike. Then the bad thing that happened, this actually made me like really sad. And it was the saddest thing to me in a movie ever is Train Spotting
Oh, the
with
little
the
baby.
baby. Oh my God. That's like the saddest scene. And then he sees the baby later and haunts him. And that movies don't scare me, but that I think that gave me a nightmare because I was just like, oh, this is just so traumatic. But this little kid dying in this movie was right up there.
Yeah, because there's
That
these two kids that are kind of like the other main characters that you see throughout the whole film,
yeah,
and it's like it's just so funny. It's like these kids are out like on like literally like guard duty, like these 8-year-olds with like M16s
yeah,
sitting out behind sandbags.
yeah. And like, they don't want to leave. They're being stubborn. They don't want to be bullied by the kids and made fun of for leaving. Even though I think even most of those, even the most radical ones have been like, hey guys, you just get out of here. You're kids. We understand. But like they don't want to leave, but they're hearing the messages from their parents and it's like a really tugging on them and they're just little kids. They want to go home. And so finally, as things are getting real intense and it's looking really, really bad, and the National Guard's bearing down at night, one of the kids runs out. He jumps over the barricade. It's like, don't shoot me. I don't want to die. And he drops his gun. A shot goes off.
It was an
And then
M16.
yeah, as the other kids run, like, no, the kid that you really like gets shot.
Yeah,
And you're
the
like,
other the other fucking douchebag kid that just ran for it doesn't get shot. Of course, he makes it.
yeah, yeah. So, and then like he does this like little twitch with his hand and whatever, and it's just like a little tiny baby hand, and like, oh God, this is just like this is terrible. It was I was like, I guess because I'm a dad now, that's like worse, but like, oh God,
Yeah, American child soldiers.
yeah, and he's dead, and like, oh God. So basically, that was like the last straw. Everything kind of crumbles down after that, and essentially the end of the movie, Sean Penn and Hutton kind of make up. They've had this horrible fight. They find out that the general is dead.
Yeah, and like Ronnie Cox fails to mention that to him.
Yeah,
It's like almost like they were holding that information out.
yeah. And so now he's like really upset. And he's like, damn, why are we even doing this anymore? Then the kid dies. And so finally, after a long conversation with Sean Penn, the impending dawn is coming up. And at dawn, the National Guard is going to unleash hell and kill everybody. And we'll take the school by force, but potentially kill everybody.
Yeah,
And finally, you know, he decides, hey, we're just gonna shut this down. This is dumb. Let's just say we won the war and go out with our heads held high. And of course, Tom Cruise fucking ruins it for everybody.
yeah. But
And
Tom Cruise, he wanted to see some action, because it's fucking beautiful.
yeah, it's fucking beautiful. Like Tom Cruise is so good in this movie.
Yeah, this part is, and he's up there with that giant like M60, like fucking blasting the living daylight. Well, first he shoots Ronnie Cox with a sniper rifle, and I don't know how he just survives that. Like, I
Because
mean,
it
he
looks
has,
like it hits him in the chest, but then he's like later he's like, "Oh, my arm." I'm like, "Nah, bitch, you were
yeah, it's
hitting
just
him."
like, I just felt like remember he's like I don't trust that Tom Cruise kid. He's gonna fucking shoot me at some point. So
Yeah,
I got this bulletproof vest on this whole time because
yeah,
I felt like
maybe.
that would have been like a little bit more. It sounds weird, but I think if Ronnie Cox's character would have died right there, I think that would have been a little bit more like, oh shit, stuff is getting real all of a sudden, you
Yeah,
know. But strange enough, it's like almost like Tom Cruise doesn't kill anybody. He just blasts the living daylights out of like all that stuff, and he causes havoc for everyone else, and he's just unloading, and now it makes the National Guard look like, oh shit, we got to go in there. The helicopters fly in, they drop the tear gas and everything. That tank busts through and just starts like unloading its machine gun.
yeah, and like some great shots in there. All the kids are running like crazy, and of course Hutton and Sean Penn go run up there to stop Tom Cruise. And when they go up there, that's when, the machine gun on the tank unleashes hell, hits Tom Cruise. Hutton goes to grab him and he gets hit too. And now you needed that character to die.
No, they both needed to go down because I felt like both Tom Cruise and Hutton are very like parallel in who they are.
Yeah.
You know, they're just slightly on the different side of the line, but they're both military guys to the very end type thing with just a slightly different viewpoint. So it made total sense that they get shot together. I thought that worked perfectly.
Yeah, because you can't have a story where it just fades to black with him walking out at this point, because now
Yeah.
this is going to be like, you're in deep shit, dude. You're like, you created, if you don't want to call it a hostage crisis, that's what it is. But little kids died, your friend got burned to death.
You killed the one black guy.
Yeah, like you just, come on, like it's just too bad. Sean Penn's the only one alive at the end out of the main characters, and so you needed him to go, because it's just, life's gonna suck at that point, and you've been following this character the whole time, and he's just gonna go to jail at the end. Nah, he can't leave that school at this point. Like, that character has to die. And Tom Cruise's character, of course, is gonna die because he just, did
He's
a terrorist attack on a bunch of
yeah,
police
he's
officers.
the psycho. Yeah, he's the one
Yeah,
who just wanted the carnage. You know, that
yeah,
was the thing. Is he was one of those kind of guys who if he wasn't in this military school, he's the kind of guy who would go on probably a shooting spree rampage and be like totally fine with
yeah.
it.
Well, he was pissed that they were going to surrender. He's just that,
Yeah,
you can't see this, which is another thing I like. You can't see that character surrender either. Just put on, take off the beret and walk out. Like, yeah, these guys are right. No,
there is
you,
no defeat.
yeah, you can't have that character give up, and you can't have that character leave the school. So I thought this movie was really damn good. I thought it was written incredibly well. I liked the script.
Hmm.
People say, well, it was like cliche military stuff. I'm like, yeah, but that's the point, though.
Yeah,
That's
but
kind of the,
I've never seen a movie like this though. At the same time, like I
yeah,
felt like it's still super unique.
yeah. And it was like, oh, well, it's just a typical siege movie. I'm like, first of all, how many fucking siege movies are there?
Yeah,
And
and
number
how many
one,
siege movies are there with 8 to 17-year-old boys?
yeah, like fighting off, the National Guard at their school. Like, I don't know. There was a lot of reviews for this. It's like, well, it was just a lot of, military jargon and a lot of old jingoistic, but yeah, but that's the point of it. It's poking at that. It's attacking that. And that's part of the point of the movie. So of course it's going to drum that up, like, and be really, all code and honor and all that stuff, because that's what's fucking wrong with these guys. Like, there's nothing wrong with honor and code,
Yeah,
but there is, like, when it
they've gone too
becomes,
far.
when it's gone too far, but also is, there's no justification for it. Like, that's the big thing in this movie. Like, where's the justification?
Yeah,
Like,
well, because there's a
okay,
part where Ronnie Cox even mentions something where he goes, "Nothing's worth dying for."
yeah,
Like, yeah, that's like what he says. You know.
yeah. He says, being dead is bad.
Oh yeah, yeah. Being dead is bad. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, guys, what are you doing? And they even kind of allude to the fact, like, hey, if you give up now, like, you're not going to be, like, your life's not going to be ruined. Like, maybe you won't get into the military now, but, you're not going to go to jail forever either. But it just went too far. And the main character had to die. And of course, Sean Penn carries him out, like, crying and stuff. Sean Penn, he's already got that, like, Mystic River type acting down. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
he's so good. Um, yeah. So this is a great movie. Sean Penn, young Sean Penn, great. Tom Cruise, great. You don't see a lot of villain roles of his, and he is a true dick. But you could see him being a psycho. Even at this
Yeah.
age, you're like, yeah, this guy's gonna jump on Oprah's couch one day. Like, he's a little off.
This is like proto Collateral in a sense.
Yeah. So Collateral, he's so, like, stoic and kind of like,
True, but like this would be the young version of him. He becomes stoic as he gets older.
yeah, it's like a mix between Collateral and then, like, Vincent D'Onofrio and, like, Full Metal Jacket, like
Yeah.
somewhere in the middle there. It's but yeah, seeing these two characters at a young age is really, really interesting. Seeing Tom Cruise and Sean Penn, like, acting so well before all these big roles and what we know them as now. Career's still going. This movie's 45 years old.
Yeah. And it doesn't
It's
feel that
great.
old, strangely enough. Other than the
Does
fact these
not.
guys look young, it feels a lot newer of a movie than it really is. I think it's made so well. It's just shot good, edited well, everything about it. Even like at the very end, like the final scene as it cuts back to like that kind of parade thing that they had at the very beginning of the movie. and shows all the characters once again, like when they were in their triumphant last days, in a sense.
Yeah, really, really haunting.
Yeah.
That last shot, going back to that shot in the movie, and then you realize that they got close-ups of all the people who are going to die,
Hmm.
and because you see Tom Cruise, you see Giancarlo Esposito, you see,
The little
they don't
boy.
even, yeah, they don't even really show Sean Penn. They just show the people who died.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
yeah, it's all the people that died. George C. Scott, you know.
yeah. So it's really, really interesting to see that later in the movie. You're like, man, all these people died because of some dumbass parade. So
Yeah,
it's
and
like,
in the sense that they foreshadowed it like in the beginning, you would never have known when you're first watching it.
yeah, really, really interesting. But Taps, kind of a hard movie to find. I bought it on Fandango. It's the weird. It's not hard to find on places where you can buy it, but it's not streaming
Yeah.
anywhere.
Well, and
There's no
it's
free version on YouTube. I didn't see.
no, and then it's kind of expensive if you want to buy like a physical copy of it. Like the DVD itself, I think was like used at like $22.
Yeah, it's just hard to find, and it's weird that this movie is so hidden, considering that it's such a time capsule, and you have two mega stars who are very young before their household names, kind of cutting their teeth on this movie. It's to me a kind of a pinnacle movie in
Yeah.
film history. Having young Tom Cruise and young Sean Penn give such good performances, knowing what they are now, it should be talked about more. And it's really not. It's really very, very odd.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those ones. Because it came up to me because Charlie Sheen kind of mentioned this in the background on like one of the podcasts he was on because he talked about
Mhm.
Tom Cruise and Taps, and then I had to look up to see what that was, and I was like, oh, okay, and then it's kind of been on my list since then. But yeah, it's a weird that like yeah, in a sense, I'm surprised I just never heard of it beforehand, and I'm surprised that when I went to go kind of look it up that it's just yeah, it's kind of like they kind of buried this movie for some strange reason, and it's not like it's controversial, it's not like it's weird or anything like that. It's a super good movie that just yeah, just kind of fell from grace and so on like that, But it's like, yeah, it's just a great, excellent military movie with really a storyline that I felt like I've never seen in movies, and that's something that
Yeah.
always kind of, if I can watch a movie at this point after seeing thousands upon thousands of movies, if you can give me a story where I'm like, well, I've never seen that before, that kind of excites me a lot.
Yeah. This it's not a wholly new concept, but I've never seen these types of thing like a school movie, a siege movie, a military movie all kind of intersect like that.
Yeah.
There's not another one like it. And you can make comparisons to Red Dawn, but there's no other movie that's quite like this one. It's really interesting. An 80s time capsule and a kind of like a pinnacle movie, like as far as where things are going. It's a foreshadowing movie. So yeah, if you've never seen Taps, if you can find a good place to watch it, go watch it, enjoy it, and it's a good movie. It's not just watching it for novelty sake. This is a good film that's worth watching, even if Tom Cruise and Sean Penn and Hutton and all these stars weren't in it. This is just a good story. So
Yeah. I think it's high bar. I think it's, yeah, I really enjoyed it a lot. So,
yeah, me too. Taps is really, really good. It's I thought the dialogue was, there's a couple times it's kind of cheesy, but a lot of times when it is corny, it's kind of the point. It's
mhm.
supposed to be like, dude, what are you saying? Like, do you hear yourself? Acting is really, really good. Some good cinematography in here. Um, it just kind of throws you for a loop. It really, if you've never seen it and you haven't heard this review, if you watch it, you're gonna be like, how did we get from what the movie started as to this? But it doesn't feel disjointed though. It
Mhm.
feels like it's definitely leading to that point, but you don't see it coming if you've never watched it. So um, yeah, good movie, Taps, 1981. Go check it out. So, any last thoughts before we get out of here?
No, I think that's about it. As I said, I was just glad I finally saw this one, and
Yeah,
I just love when there's a movie that you really want to see, and then when you do watch it, you're like, oh, it was legitimately really good, you
yeah,
know?
and it is. It's a really, really good movie. So, go check out Taps if you've never seen it. Again, you can always talk to us at via VHS on X and TikTok, and you can find us on Instagram via VHS Pod on Instagram. And of course, you can go find everything Spencer Scott Holmes does at Old Man Orange. So, um, Thanks for listening. A lot more stuff go on. We might sit in the 80s for a little bit. We might bounce back to the 90s, but we definitely have a lot more movies coming up. So I'm falling asleep. I think it's time for me to get out of here. So y'all have a good one. And via VHS is out.